What unimpressive things are people idiotically proud of? I once had a coworker brag about how dark his pee is. My kidneys ain't been working right for 8 to 10 years, bro. Bro, I am so dehydrated because water is for pussies. I was working in the hood and talking to this older guy on his bicycle. He said he can't drink water around people because he'll lose his street cred. Man, you are a 60-year-old who roams the streets on a bike. Water is a necessity of life. Someone once bragged to me. Like thumbs in suspenders level bragging. His new girlfriend's dad owned a used car lot and he got an awesome interest rate on his new, to him, truck. His rate was 24%. His new girlfriend's dad doesn't like him very much. Correction, her dad loved him. Cha-ching. Plot twist, she's in on it. A week later she'll have another new boyfriend who will get another awesome interest rate on a new-to-them truck and another fat commission. Edit 2, my top comment ever is about being set up by an ex. Is this why I can never hold a long-term relationship? I once got tricked by this beautiful blonde farmer girl who I thought might be the love of my life. Turns out her father was trying to get me to pay for half a tractor. On my paper salesman's salary it would have bankrupted me. I doubt it would bankrupt you. You seem like the type to have $30,000 somewhere. Probably not just laying around, but buried beneath someone. How little sleep they're getting by on. This and reminds me of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger is dumb. You definitely need to avoid such things, and cultivate a life that can be easier. What doesn't kill you, usually succeeds in a second attempt, Eugene Krabs. Nothing surprises me more than when people are proud of their ignorance. Knowledge is no guarantee of wisdom, but prideful ignorance is proof of its absence. When they say that's just how I am, especially when it could hurt themselves or others. Saying shit like in a land of sheep I am the wolf. Sure thing, dude. A lion doesn't have to tell you it's a lion. If a lion tells you it's a lion, it's a lion. If a lion tells you it's a lion, you're high. Not reading. TL, drive. Reddened. I worked with a guy who, otherwise very smart, was extremely proud of the fact that he could remove the foil from the neck of a wine bottle without cutting it. He brought it up so many times I lost count. I just let him have it, though, because he seemed to need it. Of all the things in this thread, this is the most reasonable thing to be proud of. Yeah, I was gonna say, if someone did this quickly for me, I would be impressed. Swearing loyalty to a ducking politician or some rich prick lol. Being bad with computers. People wear it as a badge of honor and I find it so frustrating. A. Most people know more than they realize. B. Making even a bit of time to learn how to use them can make a big difference for most people. I'm an alpha, sure thing, big guy. You're so alpha you had to get a shirt that said it too? Going into work while sick. Had a coworker who bragged on social media about having strep throat, but was still working because she values hard work. We were hairstylists. I avoided her afterwards, but came down with strep less than a week later. Risking the health of other people isn't a bragging right. Edit, strep, not strepped. Edit 2. I would also like to add that if you're stuck at a job where you have no choice but to go in even when you're severely ill because your manager is a shithead, I get it. I've been in that situation and it sucks. However, working while you're ill and spreading a bacterial infection is not the wholesome, feel-good moment that my coworker thought it was, and she mocked other stylists when they called in sick. She took it to an extremely toxic level, and all because she wanted to impress a manager who forgot her name not even a month after she quit. Edit 3. Strep throat is a bacterial infection. I called it a virus earlier, my bad. Current affairs. Find out that coughing boss comes into work, then half the team ultimately goes out sick a few days later due to COVID and the boss starts bitching about manpower. All because they just didn't stay the duck home in the first place. My boss came in with ducking COVID, got half the department sick, and then had the balls to complain about being shorthanded. She even went to a birthday party after work, got a mom and her kids sick, and now she's getting tore apart on Facebook lol. She said offhand to me, well, the majority of people survive it, and I replied, why even take the risk at all? Straight up psychopathy. Drinking a lot. I know people, grown-ass people in their late 20s, who will brag about passing out on their lawns because they couldn't make it from the car to the front door. Horrifying that they drive like that. After spending some time in C, I found out how terrifyingly normal it is for many people to drive drunk. A friend almost killed himself while his pregnant wife was at home waiting for him, and he was arguing that it didn't have to do anything with the bottle of whiskey he drank and it was the rain. A year earlier his cousin killed herself driving drunk, and he keeps talking about how horrifying her body looked but still didn't see it as a reason to stop. Working 70 hours and making a post about it. You're doing it wrong, dude. Ah yes, don't you just love working your ass off for money that you can't even use due to constantly being at work? Not being able to cook. I keep hearing people bragging about how the only thing they can do is boil water. Edit, I come from a conservative background where people still have gender roles. So women brag they can't cook to show that they are the exception, and men brag to establish the traditional patriarchal role. I didn't misunderstand self-deprecating humor sarcasm joke for a brag. All I can do is boil water, but it's not a brag, it's a cry for help. After you boil the water, try adding some pasta. I'm fierce, I don't hold back, I tell it how it is. I have no sense of diplomacy or tact. I always think of the phrase, people who are brutally honest care more about the brutality than the honesty. Not eating any vegetables. Known a few people state it as if it's some kind of achievement giving themselves constipation. I'm not a rabbit, maybe not, but you're an idiot. Their 0.5% ancestry of whatever sounds cool. Their exclusive taste in music films game a sec. Especially if their favorite film is Joker or Fight Club. These films may be good, but liking them does not make you unique and better than anyone else. Calm down, please. A lil edit, it's perfectly okay to like really unpopular stuff, but instead of building your personality around being not like everyone else, you can just share the things you like with others, and maybe others will like them too, and you will have more people to talk about it. It's not okay only if you start thinking liking things that have not so many fans somehow makes you more smart and intelligent than the other people. My dad likes to brag that he's never once changed a baby's nappy. He has 3 kids. Well, go you for being a shit father and husband. My dad and stepmom had an agreement. He didn't have to change diapers, 1 kid, but she never had to mess with any kind of toilet again, ever. Not just fixing the home toilet, but never emptying or cleaning the compositing toilet at the camp, in the boat, RVS, whatever. Honestly, I think she made the right choice. Kid's 20 now and my dad still has to deal with shit. She so won that agreement. I used to work in a daycare and there are a few diapers that make a lasting imprint on my day. But duck composting toilets. How everything triggers their self-diagnosed OCD. That version of OCD where instead of having obsessive compulsions they're just a quirky neat freak. My last boss was great in many ways but nitpicked and micromanaged in many more, but always said it's my OCD, I'm sorry I can't help it. Like, no Brenda, you're a control freak and you can help it, you choose to make up a mental illness diagnosis instead at the cost of my mental well-being. Working so hard, it gets in the way of their personal life and well-being. I missed my kids' graduation, I was too busy finishing a report. I've been so busy, I haven't slept in 3 days. I start so early and leave so late, I haven't felt direct sunlight in months. None of it makes me think, wow, you're such a dedicated worker. It makes me think you're a tool, with terrible time management, sacrificing your life for a company that doesn't care about you. From a managerial standpoint, I think more highly of workers who can get their work done in 8 hours, 5 days a week. That says efficient. The ones who work themselves to the ground quickly reach a point where their per hour work yield plummets, and the work they are accomplishing isn't done right because they're such a mess. Early COVID was a blessing for me and my family. My son passed away a month ago due to complications from muscular dystrophy, but I was able to stay home for a year and a half, just being dad and loving every minute of it. I could have made a little more money had I worked, but for an extra $100 to $200 a week, it just wasn't worth it to me. My mom kept telling me that I should be looking for work. I had 2 jobs that I could easily step back into if I needed money, but I knew that COVID was my chance to spend time with my son that I'd never get back. Back in February, he went to the hospital after stopping breathing at home and coding once there, and I stopped working to be there with him for a month and a half. This hurt financially, and I'm barely hanging on right now, just starting to eke my way out of being broke. I started taking jobs again after we left the hospital and came home, and I got a message from my wife that he said he wanted to go to heaven one day at the end of my work day. I raced home, and we went to the hospital again, eventually going to hospice so he could go comfortable surrounded by family, and I took more time off. I don't care where I am in life, I will never say that I should have worked more during that time. I was where I needed to be, and that time with my son was truly a gift, even if it came during a pandemic. Hugs to you, and sorry for your loss.